A community mourned the death of two Los Angeles police officers who were shot on Tuesday. The suspect ambushed the two officers during a domestic violence call and died after a shootout. NTD's Jackie Rios heard from the city officials.
The Monte Police Department is grieving the loss of two other officers who were shot and killed on Tuesday afternoon while responding to reports of a stabbing at a local motel. The suspect was also shot and killed. The mayor, as well as law enforcement leadership, came out to express their condolences on Wednesday. The city identified the two officers as Corporal Michael Paredes and Officer Joseph Santana.
We're heartbroken here in the city of El Monte to have lost two of our officers in such a tragic shooting. Our hearts are, going out to the families. These two officers are gentlemen that grew up in our city.
Around 4:45 p.m., officers from the El Monte Police Department responded to reports of a stabbing at a motel between a boyfriend and a girlfriend. After arriving at the Siesta Inn, the suspect allegedly fired upon the two. Authorities said the suspect then fled from the hotel room into the parking lot. Officers and the suspect exchanged more gunfire.
The two officers were transported to County USC Medical Center, where they passed away earlier this evening. The suspect was also struck by gunfire, and he was pronounced deceased at the scene.
Officials say the woman involved in the initial possible stabbing call was the suspect's girlfriend. She is being interviewed by detectives. The community of El Monte has placed a memorial in front of City Hall to honor the two officers. Police from neighboring cities also came to pay their respects Tuesday night and held a procession for the two fallen officers.
We had dispatchers come in from several other cities as well, everyone offering to cover shifts so that our police officers could be with their brothers who had passed in the line of duty.
A friend of the rookie officer who requested to not be filmed says it was a big loss for everyone.
He was a very humble, courageous, brave guy. He put literally everyone before him. He would go into the line of fire before anyone else. He was that one guy you can always trust to have your back.
The El Monte Police Department and other members of the community say they are left heartbroken.
The men and women of El Monte Police Department, as well as the community of El Monte, is grieving. I've heard that the only way to take the sting out of death is to take the love out of life. And believe me, they were loved. These two men were loved. They were good men.
Officials say the investigation is in its preliminary stages and will be ongoing. Jackie Rios, NTD News, California.
The abortion amendment is moving quickly in the California legislature. Leaders want to ensure that voters have a chance to make abortion a constitutional right.
On Tuesday, two legislative committees cleared the way for the proposed amendment that would ban the state from denying or interfering with abortions or contraceptives. It's unusually fast, as most of the time, the process takes 2 years to move a bill. According to Senator Scott Wiener, who voted for the amendment, the state needs to act now to make crystal clear that we value reproductive choice. Lawmakers are aiming to get it on the ballot this November, so voters have the option to vote on the amendment before it becomes law. 2/3 of the state legislature need to vote for it by the end of June for it to be on the ballot. According to an April survey by the Public Policy Institute of California, 76% of the likely voters oppose overturning Roe v. Wade. The amendment is one of 14 proposals in favor of abortion.
The Napa County Department of Corrections has released the mugshot of Paul Pelosi, the House Speaker's husband, following his arrest last month. He is due back in court on August 3rd with pending charges still under review by the district attorney. Paul Pelosi was arrested last month by the California Highway Patrol for allegedly driving under the influence of alcohol. Paul, husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, was attending a dinner party in Napa Valley's Oakville prior to his arrest. Authorities state that the photo was taken on May 29th at approximately 4:30 a.m. According to the Napa County Department of Corrections, there is no specific law that requires or prohibits the release of booking photos or mugshots. County officials also state that the decision to release the photo was based on the jurisdiction's current policies and that all procedures were followed accordingly. Napa County District Attorney Allison Haley announced that the case is still under review and that no charges have been formally made at this time. Pelosi is due back in Napa County Superior Court on August 3rd, and if criminal charges are filed, will be arraigned at that time. The group leading the effort to recall LA's district attorney announced that it has surpassed the amount of needed signatures to get on the November ballot. NTD's Jason Blair reports.
On June 15th, the campaign to recall Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon said they have exceeded the 566,857 signatures required to get the recall on the November ballot. Now the focus for the campaign is to keep collecting additional signatures to offset any that might be ruled as invalid, saying that simply clearing the required threshold is not enough. We must build the necessary cushion for signatures that are inevitably invalidated. In a June 1st interview with the How We Win podcast, Gascon referred to the recall effort as driven by very conservative, very right-wing forces. 1 week ago in San Francisco, voters recalled San Francisco's District Attorney Chesa Boudin with 55% of the vote. Now the campaign has 3 more weeks to keep collecting signatures before the July 6th deadline. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
Rankings came out for the most efficient seaports in the world. Instead of being the leader, California was the exact opposite this time, dead last. Here's a look at the report. Los Angeles and Long Beach have the least efficient ports in the entire world. That's according to a report last month from the World Bank. The World Bank published the data in its Container Port Performance Index 2021. The report measured the total time a ship spent at port and waiting offshore. Of 370 locations, both Los Angeles and Long Beach sat at 369th and 370th place. The rankings were measured by both administrative and statistical performance. On the other hand, the 2 most efficient container ports were both in the Middle East. They were the King Abdullah Port in Saudi Arabia and the Port of Salalah in Oman. The Port of Virginia was ranked 23rd, making it the most efficient North American port. A spokesman for the Port of Los Angeles told the Epoch Times the study was partially inaccurate. The spokesman said the study did not take into account the unmatched complexity of the San Pedro Bay ports. Los Angeles and Long Beach ports quickly became overwhelmed last year. The ports experienced record numbers of cargo ships during pandemic lockdowns. The flood of containers fueled congestion that caused supply chain delays across the United States. The twin Southern California ports remain the busiest container ports in the nation. They handle about 40% of the nation's imported cargo. Last week, a gas station in Northern California was selling gas for only 69 cents a gallon. Now, the manager is fired.
The manager of a Shell gas station in Rancho Cordova, near Sacramento, was fired on Monday for accidentally setting the price per gallon to 69 cents instead of $6.99. Local CBS 13 reported that the former manager acknowledged his mistake. He had put all the prices in, but the last one didn't go. When people found out about the great deal on June 9th, they took it to social media and called their family and friends. Soon a line formed. The gas station lost $16,000. It's not clear if the former manager needs to pay the amount back.